the price you pay for your home does not matter. Steve, that might be the stupidest thing you have ever said. Well, that's not true. I can think of lots of stupid things I've said, like, hey, yeah, sure, I'll have another. But I'm serious. The price you pay for your home doesn't really matter, and it doesn't matter because of something called GDS, or gross debt service ratio. And I'm going to get into that right after I ask you to please subscribe to the channel and help grow our small, humble little channel here. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and then we're going to give away a good swag bag. It's kind of our goal to get there up to 1,000 people. And if you're here to find out why your purchase price of your home doesn't matter, well, make sure to hit the like button so you can get this information out through the YouTube algorithm to more people, who can then also hit the like button so they can also find out why their purchase price doesn't matter. Your GDS is the amount of your income that you're allowed to spend due to like regulation and stuff at the bank, the amount of your income that you're allowed to spend on housing. And that actually forms part of your TDS, which is your total debt servicing ratio, which is the amount of debt that you're allowed to have, including all types of debt, including your GDS. So your TDS is actually inclusive of your GDS, but your GDS isn't necessarily your TDS. And hopefully you're a good little saver and you don't carry too much debt, and therefore your TDS has a whole lot of room in it, and making sure you can then max out your GDS. So one thing that you have to know about your GDS is it's usually about 39% of your total income can be used towards housing. So again, that 39% number can be maxed out towards housing. However, your TDS, your total debt servicing ratio, is only 44%. So if you've, I don't know, gone ahead and bought a massive Scotch collection on your credit cards, and you've already taken, let's call it 7% of your TDS towards your Scotch collection, then your GDS is actually going to be smaller. So you will no longer be allowed to spend, 39% of your income on your housing. That number will actually get reduced. Therefore, you have to purchase a home for less. And things like car payments obviously will also add to that TDS. So if you don't spend all of that extra room in your TDS, you can max out your GDS at 39%. But not all banks are created equally, and some banks don't even actually have a GDS, and they will only look at TDS, meaning that if you have no other debts, you can spend up to 44% of your income coming in on housing, therefore qualifying for a higher purchase price. Well, then how does that make what I pay for my home irrelevant? Well, the truth is that the banks are then going to qualify you for either 39 to 44% of your income that's coming in every single month as to what you can spend on housing. Therefore, no matter which purchase price you actually spend, the bank is still likely going to get 39 to 44% of your income through your mortgage payment. But if I spend less on the home, obviously my mortgage payments are going to be smaller. Well, yeah, that's true. You're going to have a smaller payment, but most people do stretch to their maximum. So if you can have that restraint of spending less than what you actually qualify for, hey, that's fantastic. However, most people are going to spend to their limit. And if it's $1,000 this way or that way, well, borrowing $1,000 these days is what, $3 or $4 a month once it's amortized. So it's as little as possible. I mean, I think the last time I went for an Americano at Starbucks, I think I was paying $3.76. So it's about a coffee a month for every $1,000 more that you actually spend. Let me illustrate this slightly differently, because in this theory, interest rates, they play a very significant role. And I'm going to use my partner, Chandani, who just recently is going through an upsize. So she actually currently is in a property, and she's getting to a larger property. She's just actually gone through the process. And she's a very good, frugal little saver. We're quite proud of her on the team for being that way and impressing that upon our clients. Being very conservative, she's worried about obviously your payments and her ability in the future to get into a bigger home. And with prices rising, obviously Chandani was really worried about paying too much, as I think everybody is, for their next place. But then she also came to me with this other information. She said to me, I can pay, let's say, for example, $900,000 for this current townhouse now at 2%, and my payment would be $2,661 a month. But after this massive surge in the market, she's very concerned with the fact that prices will probably dip back a little bit at some point before they either flatten out or take off again on their next run. And Chandani was feeling in her search that if we do see this kind of tick back in price, the property that she was looking at for $900,000 might actually be worth possibly even $870,000 by the end of summer. But her rate hold actually would expire on July the 1st. And that's it. It is the rate hold that is the biggest key in this factor. So let's say she's got a 2% interest rate currently at $900,000, but the price is about to come down and she's going to lose her interest rate at 2% and it's going to go up, which most interest rates have gone up now, to 2.25% or higher. So now if she does wait until September, and if prices, and they're not, they have showed no signs of actually dipping yet, but if prices did come down to 870 and she applied her new 2.25% interest rate to that purchase, well, her payment would be almost identical at $26.60 each and every month, saving herself only $1. And remember, for this to make sense, the prices actually do have to come down. The interest rates are rising currently, and rising will likely only stop and may not actually even see the downturn until we see something like the Fed actually increase their rates. Currently, the interest rates that are being risen are only being done so by the banks and not actually by the Canadian government. And let me, through experience, impress this point upon you. One time I went for lunch with someone from a specific bank who was in charge of their mortgage brokers, and I ran this theory by him. And the theory was basically what I've said. The bank doesn't really care where house prices are. The bank is going to get at least your GDS out of you, if not your TDS out of you. So all that matters is they're going to get 39 to 44% of your paycheck, no matter what the price of the home actually is. Even if you're saving $30,000 on the purchase price, they're still going to get that $26.60 out of you in this example, and you're only actually saving $1. And to just round out that story, when I did give him my, theory, which I thought was genius because I was much younger and I didn't realize everybody knew this, that guy looked back across the table from me and, kind of smirked. And he said, you're right. Prices are always going to be reflected of what the person makes and the interest rate that they get for the home. We are always going to get a percentage of your income unless you have enough restraint to not spend to your maximum. And for sure, I'm never going to tell you that representative came from bank, because bank would likely get mad, and I don't want bank to get mad at me if they ever found out that their representative said something like that, because bank is actually a very good bank. And let's face it, most people are going to spend to their maximum, because specifically in my marketplace of Surrey, BC and Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, real estate is very expensive. So from lending institutions' point of view, the price of the home is not actually as important as what percentage of your income can they extract out of you over the next 25 or 30 years. And I don't want to say that lending is bad or these banks are terrible. It's just kind of the way it is. When you're borrowing money, they're going to leave you with an amount that you're allowed to borrow. You're going to leave your appointment with the bank and go, okay, this is how much you can afford. And let's be realistic, you're probably going to spend that much. And realistically, that's the type of cost that you need to take on in order to grow your wealth through real estate. So the moral of the story is, don't put as much clout into the actual purchase price on the contract. Take a look at your actual mortgage payment month to month and make sure that fits your budget. Like I said, the actual dollar amount, everybody gets fixated when they're negotiating on a contract for $1,000 here, or they get angry with the seller or the buyer one way or the other. Look at your actual end result of the home that you're moving into and exactly what your costs will be. And as a result, you'll probably be a whole lot happier and make the process just a little bit easier. There you have it. Price doesn't matter. Make sure you click and subscribe for more updates like this one in the world of real estate, particularly my marketplace of Surrey, BC and the Lower Mainland. But we're updating you across Canada and anything that might reflect the Canadian real estate market and where it currently sits. If you haven't already, please make sure to smash the like button on your way out the door. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in a couple of days.